This freaking guy, this is Steven right here. There's the freaking Arsenal's parked out in front of us freaking. He cut both trees down. He's still got leaves everywhere. There's the mini.
Check that out.
All right, it's been Thanksgiving. It's over. Now we can take the cover off and get back to work. Charge air cooler did show up. We got Global. I hope that's the right one. We got a Global charge air cooler. The steering stabilizer showed up too. That's Bilstein stabilizer. Right now I'm gonna deal with under the valve covers. Open up the injectors, get them in, get the glow plugs in. I put a little oil in each of the cylinders though before I do that. I have not barred the engine over since we torqued the heads down, so that's when I put about 3 squirts of oil in each glow plug hole, real slow, with the little oil can somewhere, that one, right there. And then bar it over and watch every rocker to move. It's just habit, that's what I do. So let's get the injectors in, glow plugs in, oil rails, standpipes, dummy plugs, valve covers, close it up, get the intake on, and turbo. At that point, it's ready for wiring. Yeah, so let's get to it. Now the money's flying off the shelf. Full set of remans. Yep. Let's get them torqued down, buttoned up. Okay, snapped all the plugs in, and now I want to put the intake on so I can put the Fickum harness on. That way I can plug all this in before we button this all up. I like doing it that way. So now for the intake on, the little bit of sealant, because I do seal the rocker box on, we have to cut this sealant off, this excess. I like to cut that off. I already ran down it with a razor blade. I don't know if I ran down it good enough. This little screwdriver works too, just like that. Oh, yeah, works great, just clean it off. Okay, so before we put the harnesses on and the oil filter housing, let's put the oil temp and the oil pressure switch, and then oil up the standpipe. And I poured oil down in that hole before I put the standpipe on until it almost poured out of the 2 holes right there. And at least we got some oil in the oil cooler, because it's gonna have to fill that up before we get oil pressure anyways. So now we'll oil that, put a new O-ring on it, throw some T45s on, oil the surface under there, and put that on. Let's do it right now. Plug it along, get the IPR valve put back in, oil filters mounted, turbo pedestal going on. Don't forget the sleeve. If you don't have it, buy one. So now the Fickum harness is not taped, and there's a couple of spots. This is a new harness. It's a new harness, but some of the tape is starting to get loose. And rather than just let it go because it's new, I'm gonna go ahead and tape it off. But this is how I do it, like one leg at a time, have multiple rolls of tape going for the same thing. Like this piece of roll, well, this tape right here started here and went up and then back down, and I'll stop here. This piece goes up and then back down, and I'll go down here just a little bit, and I'll stop this one, and this one will go on past it. And then I'll do the same thing here, another piece of tape here, go down. Basically, there'll be no breaks in the tape then. One break down at the very end, probably gonna have to be over there somewhere. That's how I'm doing this. So it's very time consuming, tedious. It's just, but you know, once I start going, it's, I don't know, probably half hour. But then I gotta sit, and I haven't grabbed the main engine harness off of there yet, off of our rack. And once I do grab it, I'm gonna look at it, and I'm probably gonna decide to tape that son of a gun too, and that's a good hour, maybe 2 hours. Probably hour at least, solid hour. So yeah, I tried to get most of this done beforehand, but we didn't. At least I got the lower ones done. Then I erred towards just getting them done as I'm putting them on the truck. Now that's where we're at. So let's finish taping this up, get it put on, and then probably wind up taping the harness too. So let's get it over with. Damn, I hate it when I forget something. I just taped it all up, and this was missing. I just went and found it over there in the boneyard. Must have fallen off somewhere and got something, but this is supposed to go on and push on that once the valve cover's on. And I really don't want to, you know, not have it. So I'm just going to have to tape it back on, and there's going to be brakes on this one. I'm not going to retape the whole thing because of that. Yeah, so let's do that. Okay, so now that we have the harnesses plugged into the injectors and there's no concern about when I try to push this in, it pushing the plug out, now we can put oil rails on, use guide studs, get all the plumbing done and the valve covers on. That's where I'm going right now. Well, I was, but Julie got me putting on the manifolds. Surfaced manifolds, mind you, and surfaced head surfaces. And I like to do the manifolds before the main engine harness. The main engine harness goes after the valve covers and Fickum brackets and glow plug brackets, and all the brackets that go in the valve covers. Then I put the main engine harness on, but I desperately would want the manifolds on before the main engine harness. I really don't want the harness hanging down, being in the way while I put the manifolds on. Right now it's clear, so that's what I like to do. So it doesn't really matter, either oil rails button at the valve cover or exhaust manifolds, either one. Okay, almost forgot, but history has shown that these exhaust manifold bolts and spacers will be brown with rust if we don't get at least a little paint on them. I put 3 bolts in and forgot. I was like, oh crap, let's paint them. So we got to get them painted, so now the exhaust is on hold for a minute. But
color, black or silver?
Silver, high temp. So we'll go ahead and paint them, and that way they continue to look consistent. Because that's just a drag when every time I look down on it after a year, they'll be completely freaking rusted. They'll be just a rusted bolt. So we'll try to throw a little paint on it right now and do our best. Somewhat of an oven, kind of. Try to put them on.
Need to be on another box, just a little higher.
Down here, I kind of spaced this all off. I used the rear block grounds, the rear and the front, the block ground for the ABS. The ABS has this big washer on it, and you need those. Well, you don't need them, but I mean, that's just to be correct. Put those in with the big washer. Okay, it happens all the time with EGT sensors. They, when they get drilled in, you can see the witness mark for how far it was in. It was barely in. So I'm just running a tap down it just to make sure the threads are cleaned up all the way in, because I want to run it a little further. And we're going to use JB Weld as Loctite on this. We'll put just a thin skim of JB Weld around it and then thread that sucker in and Loctite it. We don't care. I don't want that to ever come out again. But even with some little JB Weld, it's just sealant. I believe that you could still get the bolt out even though I put JB Weld on it. But for now, let's just make sure that I can thread it in all the way. And Julie's mixing up some stuff. Holy crap. Yeah, that was a pain in the butt. But we got it now. Nice and easy, thread it in real good. Don't forget to blow it out. Might as well, especially since it ain't on the truck. Now we got some pretty good threads in there. All the way through. Oh, look at that little piece. Screwdriver. See if we can make sure that's not gonna fall off. Right there. And now we'll thread it in. Maybe get a socket. Yeah. There you go, no gaskets. New bolts and surfaces and no gaskets. Saved about $60 freaking right there. Yep. Yeah, because we're just all about saving money here, huh? Now it's time for the oil rails. I got them sitting on this. These drain pants are great. I think O'Reilly's has them. They're freaking awesome. They work good for oil rails. We call them oil rail drain pants, is what we call them. So you can set it up right there. See the nipple cups are not touching anything. And try to get as much oil out. They've been, I mean, we drained them when we took it apart, but manifolds are on and torqued. Bolts are painted. Now it's time to cover up valve covers. Let's try to get this engine sealed up. We're almost there. If you're new here, you have no idea what guide studs are, but use guide studs. We got guide studs that we put them on, especially with new injectors, pop them on. Oh man, it's wonderful. So throw all those in. Let's tighten these things down, and then we'll put the standpipe in the back. Dummy plugs are left in. We don't take them out when they were already updated. Yep. Huh. All done. Let's just get ready to say bye-bye. Fresh set of ream ends, Remain injectors. We put the standpipes back in. Reuse the standpipes because I do not feel comfortable about the standpipes that we would buy nowadays. It's cheaper to keep her. Let's just, because I've been burnt by them a lot, and if these, since they're updated, I hate to say it, but we're gonna have to ride and take a gamble on there being a failure with a standpipe. I mean, it happens, but most of the time, yeah. Let's have a little look at our used parts counter. This is all used parts. There is nothing gone in the trash can on this entire job. Everything that comes off this truck, even samples of fluid, paint cans, push rod, every freaking thing. The only thing that goes, even wrappers, even packaging of new parts does not go in the trash. We'll put some of the bags that are dirty, but any parts go on here. It's kind of nice. We didn't used to have one spot. Well, we did, but it wasn't a dedicated shelf. It was like an area of the shop underneath the table or somewhere we just throw all the crap. Very, very nice to have one spot for everything. Keeps it clean in here. I mean, the floor's all clean. Everything's, we're right smack in the middle of a job. Things are pretty tidied up, pretty clean. I love that. You know, I used to bang on these gaskets a lot, but actually I've never been burnt by them, and we have them, so let's give them a call. Let's go for it. We'll put the Felpro valve cover gaskets on. We still have the other ones. What are you guys' thoughts? What would you rather do? A set of new Felpros? These are really, really clean too. We clean them all up. They're almost new too. Normally I would have in the past put the Ford ones back on. But I think I want to go ahead and start, because these gaskets, I mean, I don't want to take a chance on it being smashed flat. And I don't see anything adverse with the Felpro valve cover gaskets. I just don't. I mean, and like I said, I've never been burnt, so maybe we need to get burnt. Because I did put the intake gaskets to Felpro. I mean, we already buy them. It's in the engine gasket kit, so it's kind of double redundant to go ahead and buy. I used to do that a lot, buy intake gaskets when the Felpro comes with it, because I wouldn't use the Felpro intake gaskets, but let's try to step away from that. What are your thoughts on that? Would you guys rather have the old OEM or new Felpro? There's a thought. Okay, so we got the breather box on. EVP adapter threaded in. And I looked around at everything. Right now, well, I have the Fickum brackets and the glow plug brackets put on, but I'm looking at this engine harness. And there's a lot of stuff where the tape, it's at the point right now where if I put it back on, it'll start fraying and the electrical tape will start going. So since we've got it off the truck, oh, what a drag. Here's another 2 hours of my life is about to go towards this engine harness. It's probably gonna be 2 hours. But this harness is, I mean, it's about $600-700 for the freaking harness. I don't think you can get the late model harnesses anymore. So let's just do it. I mean, it would be catastrophic to have an engine harness issue for any truck. Because, I mean, not being able to get them, damn near total the truck, or you'll have to expose all the wires and find, yeah, it just, so let's just do what we can right now to hopefully ensure that this harness stays good forever. That's what I'm gonna go for, so. Oh, it's just, I'm starting right down there. Let's go. Tape the whole thing up. I'll see you in like a long time. Okay, so I've got an idea that I think we're gonna see if we have the cables. Problem is, well, okay, I'd like to run another wire to the alternator and down to the battery. But the problem is I can't put 2 more lugs on the alternator. It has to be, it doesn't have a lot of room. So, I mean, ideally I would like to take, okay, in a perfect world, I would take 2 lines right here. I'd have 2 more lines hanging out here, about that size, lawnmower cables, basically, that size. 2 of them here, 1 going to the other battery, along through here and all the way up the main engine harness, and then that side goes to the battery, and then another one here going to there to that battery. And while I'm taping up the engine harness, I could tape that wire inside of it. I mean, the downside would be, you know, however much room we'd have for those extra wires, they're gonna take up space, but I can run them right inside of the other harness. So I think it's game off for a minute, and I wanna see if I can't find something. At least spend a little time exploring it, because it'd be nice to have those lines running straight to the battery. Yeah, I don't know. Let's ponder that. All right, Julie found this. I'm not sure what that's all about, but she found these too. I'm kind of liking these. They're nice and thin, real thin, so I can put the wire in it, and that will easily mount to the alternator with that one also. And then, I mean, I could just get raw wire, and we could run this wire over and go down a little bit, and then put a connection there, and then on the line that one goes into, we can run this line and crimp that, a double crimp, and then a single crimp there going to the other plug, using these maybe, and then heat shrink them up. Let's see if we can find some wire. All right, guys, it's lunchtime. We shut the lights off. I am working on this. Do you guys know what I'm doing here? Does anybody know what I'm doing here? Take a guess. Take a guess. And then we'll see if I like it when it's done and if it even stays on the truck. But yeah, just make a note. Okay, this is what I have come up with so far. I didn't want to have two connections on the alternator, so I took both of them into one and used crimp connection like that. Pretty heavy thing too. I pounded it together with that. I'm not done securing it together yet. I might tape it. I'm planning on having it attachable, I guess, to the engine harness. So we're gonna put this one on backwards. It'll go on right there. That one will go there. I had to make it. I had to cut it down, make it smaller so that it would fit inside of the alternator. And then this one will go on the outside of it. That, and then that. And once I wiggle everything around and get it, I have to tweak it a little bit so it'll tighten down, but that's my idea. And then this is gonna come along the bottom over here and hook to the battery. And same thing with this one. It's gonna go along all the way over, up, and I figure a little past, which I can kind of mess with that later, maybe. And because I'm wanting it to go in front of the battery, it's gonna be at the PCM plug, which is like right here. The positive terminal's right here. So I'm gonna go from here and I wanna go this way, because I don't really wanna have it in the way of changing a battery, right? I wanna be able to just take the terminal off and it get out of the way. So I'm gonna plan on going over by the negative. So I'll go, imagine the PCM's right here. I'll go over this way and I'll come back up to the negative, go up, bypass that negative there and hook it. That's my thought. Let's see. Yeah, but that's what I've been working on. And once I figure that out, then I will go ahead and finish taping off the engine harness. Just for little stuff like that right there. See, I don't want to leave that. Stuff like that's just going to keep getting worse and worse, and eventually it's just going to not be attached anymore. That's how they all look. But we can try and make it look like this. Oh, got a little fold there. That's what I'm making it look like. Fickum brackets, this Fickum harness is already done too. Yeah, look at the difference. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. But once I finish this up, because I want to go ahead and get that plug on, because now that I think about it, I'd rather crimp it right now. And I have all kinds of leeway for wire here that I can actually move it. There's plenty of room, so I might just go with that right there. Okay, I'm gonna call it done just like that. We've got one little connection right here that test fitted. It'll go on before this. Put this on first, and then put the factory one on. And then it'll run down along the harness. And then I've got this here that should go the opposite way like that. I think it's like that, I think. And then I got this one that comes over, goes down and pretty much stays over here under the PCM. And then once we leave the PCM, I have this much slack to be able to navigate up and over and to the hotline. So it should be able to run right along the negative. The ground is where I should be able to go. But that's it. Okay, so added a battery cable. Now I'm gonna take off the main engine harness again. Well, it's just sitting there. I'm gonna take it off and finish taping it up. Because this, I'm not going to integrate it and attach it to the engine harness. I might in a couple of spots, just quick, just maybe some tape. One spot right there, 5 or 6 loops. Another spot right there. But I don't want to put it in the harness. I think it'll garble it up. I think it'll look like crap. So, be a lot better just to leave it independent. Because, I mean, it's protected. It's a good wire. It's good stuff. Yeah, probably better than the factory with that wire loom on there. Would you just look at that? Harnesses are done. I'm done touching harnesses. Also made the other harness. Made one for power distribution. And we're calling it a night right now. I don't know what time it is, 6, 7 o'clock at night. My thumb is freaking killing me from running the freaking wire. And so we're gonna go ahead and kill it, and we'll try it again tomorrow. Have a good night, guys.